Greetings, all you maniacs and minds on our crimes, and welcome back to some more Warframe shit. Finally doing a bit more Warframe content. Today, we are going to be going over the gun changes and also quickly reviewing some of the new guns. I technically have 3, but only 2 of them are formed. Anyway, the gun changes with the mods, they're really strong, and I'm going to save the Flux Rifle for a bit later. So, there's been quite a few big winners for these gun changes. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Panthera Prime. So, basically, I would have Galvanized Aptitude on here for that condition overload type effect, and it works pretty fucking well. But I have a ribbon, so there is no real room for it. I guess you could say, well, you could take off Point Strike and put that here if you form it again, but doesn't really matter. I don't have an arcane on this one yet. Anyway, so essentially what this does is more multi-shot, more kills, stocks up to 5 times. Right now it is firing 2.7 multi-shot. So that, I believe, is nearly guaranteed 3 blades. Somewhere around there, if I'm remembering how multi-shot works correctly, which I'm probably not. But anyway, my ribbon is pretty beastly. The minus status chance literally does not matter. Anyway, let's show what this thing actually does in practical effect. Now, it's not going to be realistic that you're going to be fighting heavy gunners like this. You'll be able to easily, listen to me, you'll easily be able to get the stacks for these mods on trash mobs, which makes up a majority of them. So keep in mind that this isn't exactly realistic, but either way, I'm just doing this so I don't get staggered anyway. Alright, so now I have 1 stack, so I have even more multi-shot. And you can see there's 2 stacks. By the way, it doesn't matter how the enemy dies by the gun. If they bleed out, that's fine. If they die by a crit, that's fine as well. So that's 4 stacks. And there we go. Now I have the final stack. You can't really see it, but there are a lot of saw blades being fired right now. And also, let me actually let it go down. This is also a very good little thing about this mod. When it hits 0 at 5 times, or 4 times, or 3 times, it just goes down by 1. It doesn't completely go away. But either way, at max stack, yeah. That damage is pretty insane. Now, imagine that with the condition overload type effect, which I don't have room on this weapon right now unless I get rid of the ribbon, which I can't. I don't have any ammo. But as you see, the Panthera Prime, before these changes, the Panthera Prime was very strong. No one uses it, but it was very powerful. Now it's pretty fucking ludicrous. Yes, this works on the Kuva Brahma and the Kuva Ogress, but those weapons don't need these mods at all. I don't think that they should have been able to be equipped on the Kuva Brahma and other AoE weapons like that. So let's move over to a different class of weapons, shotguns. Specifically, the fucking comb. Because this only stacks up to 4 times, but look how many pellets are being fired. That is a lot. Well, it actually doesn't show for some reason on this shotgun, but on other shotguns it does, which is fucking stupid. But anyway, I'm going to try it with... here's the condition overload one. So let's show just how freaking powerful this is. So this is Heat Viral. Heat Viral, okay, listen. Viral is very powerful, but Corrosive does better against these enemies. So anyway, once this gets stacked up, and also I have Arcane Tempo. Yeah, and watch how fast these enemies' health disappear. It's like a magic trick. That is absolutely absurd. You could also be saying, well, it's not AoE, so what's the point? Well, it is going to be AoE. Because punch through, and also how much the damn comb spreads. This shreds absolutely everything, including Steel Path. This is honestly so overkill for normal missions that it's kind of ridiculous. And keep in mind, you can actually proc enemies with even more status effects, and you will get even more damage out of it. So now let's go over to another big winner of this, and that is the primary Spore Lacer and beam weapons in general. Okay. The damage that this thing pushes out is so absurd that I'm probably just going to have to show it in Steel Path to actually prove just how absurd it is. Either the Corrosive or the Viral build. I have primary Deadhead here, which will give me 40% more damage. I would put on primary Merciless, but these... It's only for 4 seconds, which is so stupid, considering the fact that primary Deadhead gives even more with a larger time. Why? Why, DE? Anyway, let me actually spawn in some baby enemies. Just so I can get the stack up. It doesn't really matter what enemies I choose here. Just something that I can kill quick. Yeah, chargers, why not? I'll just rip through some chargers really quick. Get my stacks up. I will not be able to get a primary Deadhead a lot because the primary Spore Lacer has a problem with getting headshots. So that is a bit unfortunate. Anyway, I'm stacked up. This is the Viral build. Yeah, you can... There's still some problems with the Spore Lacer, like not hitting enemies you're shooting at sometimes. But yeah. That damage... And trust me, it's even better in Steel Path when I'm using the Corrosive build. Because my Panzer actually, let me show you that. Let me show you the Panzer setup here. This isn't going to be an accurate representation because these enemies are actually weaker than their Steel Path counterparts. So I'm going to let my Panzer do his thing. Go on, Hans. And I'm probably going to have to respawn the enemies again just to really demonstrate. Also, I think the Panzer is proccing some stuff. Yeah, he's proccing primary Deadhead. What? Anyway. So even before it's stacked up, and it stacks up really quick because beam weapon. Look at this. That is absurd. That is a lot of damage. That is eating these enemies alive really quick. And also, keep in mind, I don't have fire rate on this beam weapon because there's simply no room. I could take off Point Strike because this thing does have good crits, but I would rather not because, you know, basically guaranteed crits here. Galvanized Scope isn't going to do anything for the primary Spore Lacer. Anyway, let's move on to one of a pretty big upgrade. So we're going to talk about, you know, this gun, the Tenant Archiplasmor. Mine has heat. It's about, I think, like 25%. It doesn't fucking say. Oh, it does. Okay, 37% equipped. 37% heat. I know, it's not 60. Seriously, the difference between 25 and 60 is like 5 damage. 5 points of damage. So, this thing has a lot of unique properties. It ricochets all over the place, as I'll show in a second. That's pretty cool, right? I'm going to get rid of my Panzer. And this weapon really does benefit from having stacks maxed out. And I'm also going to be using the Corrosive build because these enemies are weak to Corrosive. No reason to use the Viral. I have Savvy on here, I have Galvanized Hell, and I have Galvanized Acceleration. This isn't needed, but it turns the weapon basically into a sniper rifle. It has a lot of range, and I have primary Deadhead here. I think this is the one I'm going to max out, really, because it will be giving me a lot more damage, and I know the Archiplasmor doesn't really get headshot multipliers too well, but it's going to help, and it's going to give this thing a lot more damage. Stack it with Arcane... with other arcanes on your Warframe, and there you go. You could also be saying, well, why don't you have Prime Charge Shell on? Because I want the status chance. You want the status chance with this. So let me actually just spawn in some more baby enemies. Actually, I'll spawn in butchers so I can get headshots. And it's going to instantly vaporize these guys, yeah. I just got to get all my stacks up. Easily nail headshots. My real big problem with this gun is that fucking 3-second reload speed, and also the rate of fire is a bit low. But that's fine. That's completely fine. I have arcane tempo to alleviate one of those things. Anyway. Once they start getting more statuses on them, yeah. So this is one of those guns, it's kind of a late bloomer when it comes to its damage. And also, I'm going to spawn these enemies in again and have my Panzer with me. I'm going to have to get my stacks up again. And no, they cannot get hit twice by the ricochets. At least I don't think. It doesn't look like it. But look how far these projectiles are reaching. They're moving so fast. And then use this with Zephyr and her augment, and you have a sniper rifle. This thing is it's a fucking cannon, okay? This thing hits really hard. This is a serious upgrade from the normal Arcoplasmor. Now, I always thought the Arcoplasmor was a good gun, but it really fell off, and this thing doesn't. It's mostly thanks to these mods, though. So let's spawn the Panzer back in. Oh, my stacks are already there. Okay. I'll believe the UI. So, go ahead, Hans. So now they have even more statuses on them. And you can see I'm hitting like 20k, 30k, 40k damage. I thought I saw 40k. I might be blind. But yeah. And this is not an unrealistic scenario. Your teammates are also going to be shooting enemies that you're shooting, so they're going to be proccing even more statuses. So that's really crazy. That damage is pretty nuts. So the condition overload type effect is really noticeable on rifles. So let me actually, I know this is, I'm not quite done with this video yet. There's still a lot to cover, and I want to cover it all in one video. I don't want to do parts. So let's go to the Telos Boltor. So a weapon that no one's ever used, very rarely used. This thing has a gas proc, which helps with the condition overload type effect if I'm using that build. No, I'm not on this one. Oh, that's right. I don't have room for it. Unless I... Oh, wait. Is it this one? Yeah, it is. Okay, sweet. So this is viral. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird because this isn't maxed. But I can't. I don't want to get rid of Shred. So instead of viral, I am going to have Corrosive. And you will see, although I could have used viral, wouldn't have mattered. And you can see the ramp up. Especially when I start getting kills. Like, it's not very noticeable right now. So yeah, is this gun update lazy? Yeah, it's very lazy. But is it effective? Well, the results speak for themselves. You can see that these guns are getting a pretty big ramp up. Now, because this is just basically an assault rifle, no one's going to use it. So, let me actually go back to another gun. Let me actually talk about the fucking Flux Rifle. This thing is fucking ridiculous. Flux Overdrive does work. So, yeah, that status chance is going to be like 400%. I have Sinister Reach on here for memes, although it doesn't really matter. I'm going to show the Corrosive build too. Just for the sake of consistency, I'm going to put Vigilance Supplies here. Primary Deadhead for more damage because this is a super precise weapon. This thing is technically a beam rifle, technically a full auto assault rifle. And wait and see the damage. Just to make sure, do I have all the mods that I would need? Yep, I do. And so this is how it fires. Yeah. Look at this. It still gets me. Like, what in the hell is this damage? Who cares if this thing doesn't chain? It's killing enemies so fast that it doesn't matter. Look at this. And now everything is stacked up. Except for Primary Deadhead. Well, there's one stack of Primary Deadhead. You see how many slash procs that the enemies are getting? That's absurd. Okay, now we're going to go over to the Corrosive build, and I'm going to again equip my Panzer. And let him do his thing. Go on ahead. Thank you, Hans. Let them spread around a bit. He will launch a second one. There he goes. This is one of the biggest upgrades I've ever seen in this game. I thought going from the normal Heck to the Vacor Heck was a big upgrade, but this is absurd. I know the normal Flux Rifle will probably be doing kind of similar things where it's just shredding the enemies. Okay, for one of them, I'm just going to burst. Look how many slash procs are happening. What in the hell? That's ridiculous. This fucking rifle is ridiculous. The damage that it pushes out, it has such a stupid high rate of fire. The reload is pretty quick. You could argue, well, it's not that great, technically. Yes, it hits hard, but it doesn't chain to enemies. It kills enemies so fast on Star Chart missions. Disruption, I'm pretty sure because I haven't used it against Demolists yet. It does kill Steel Path enemies pretty fast, that it kind of doesn't matter. Group the enemies together with a larva, with a larva or mag or Vauban, and you're just shredding them. So yeah, hammer shots here just for the more status memes. Not needed, but you can do it if you want. Anyway, the Tetra I don't have maxed yet. So what's another weapon that has benefited greatly from this? Well, all of them. This is an insanely good update. And to prove my point with the primary Spore Lacer, I'm actually going to go into Steel Path and show you the power that this weapon now has in an environment like Steel Path. So let's go. I might do I'm going to do separate videos for the Flux Rifle and the Archititron showing them in the Steel Path, but I really want to hammer home just how powerful the primary Spore Lacer is now. It was always really strong, not Spore Lacer, Vermisplicer. It was always really strong, but now it's ridiculous. We're also going to see the Acolyte here. So another thing I want to mention about the this update, Sister Parvos, I like the Sisters of Parvos. I like them. They're quick. They're easy. There's not too much annoyance about them. Obviously, you have to play Railjack, but it's fine because the Railjack mission is done pretty quick. Anyway. The Augur of Epiretes is going to be just as powerful as it is in Bloodborne. Anyway. So, getting shit ramped up. There we go. And then look at this. You'll also see this when I fight the Acolyte. I even have a stack of primary Deadhead going. That's cool. Yeah, you just hold the trigger down, and the enemies just, you know, fall over. That was like an 18,000 crit right there. And these guys have viral stacked on them. But yeah, I can't... Sometimes you can't hit the enemy that's right in front of you with the Vermis Splicer, which is kind of aggravating, but whatever. I can even do this. You know, get even more damage. So, yeah. This is insane. This gun could kill Steel Path before these updates. But these updates, the more multi-shot, the damage that comes from that multi-shot because of how beam weapons work, well, all weapons work really. The condition overload type effect, it's insane. This actually gives it more damage than heavy caliber. Put that into perspective. I mean, it makes sense that the condition overload type effect gives more damage than heavy caliber. Absolutely ridiculous. So, obviously, the real test will be against the Acolyte. Hopefully, it's Torment and no one really annoying. But knowing my luck, it's going to be Mr. Mag, and I don't want that. But yeah, look at... I still can't get over this. I still can't get over the Flux Rifle. That thing is absurd. And so is this. This Vermis Splicer, by the way, is built for max crits. Absolutely unneeded. You could actually go max status, and that actually would probably do a lot of damage too. Or some kind of hybrid.
Get ready for a capsule.
Sinister Reach is also an Exilus mod now. So you can put that on. You could also put on... I should put on Vigilancy Supplies for the crit ups. Yeah, that would give it even more damage. And I'm not even using a frame that buffs guns. I have heat on the weapon, so me setting them on fire really isn't doing anything.
I've delivered another life support capsule.
Hey, you see that ramp up. It goes from like a few hundred to like tens of thousands of damage in the span of a few seconds. Wait, how am I just getting meltdown now? Oh, is it because it's a new challenge? It just... Oh, okay. I think Nightwave cycled. I gotta go and get the life support activated. There we are.
Life support activated.
Lock onto the guy I'm shooting at. God damn it. But I mean, the Spore Lacer... fuck. The Spore Lacer is also absurd. The Vermis Splicer, it connects to many enemies. Since I... Honestly, I should replace residual boils with something that, you know, can proc a different status, and that would give even more damage. But I'm already killing the enemy so quickly. It really doesn't matter, and plus, I would probably have to rank up that arcane. About the arcanes, the Acolytes drop them, and that's really frustrating. I wish it was just a thing in the Teshin store. You know, give us a little bit of incentive. I mean, this is kind of incentive to get these arcanes. And here's the thing. I don't think that this is the only gun changes they're going to do. I think this is only one of many steps. That's my hope, at least. That they go ahead and give even more buffs to guns after this. I mean, yeah, I really do hope that that's the case.
made their first discovery. Keep up the good work.
Look at that damage on the Acolyte. By the way, the Acolyte has a shit ton of health and armor, and can only be, you know, procced with up to the 4 procs of a status, and is actually resistant to certain status types too, I believe. And look at that health just melt. Melted. Obviously, it's not as a fast obliteration as using a really, really strong burst weapon damage. Burst damage weapon. Like the secondary Spore Lacer or anything like that. But imagine him also getting hit by someone that's using, I don't know, has like electricity being procced if there's a volt, or if you're boosted by Wisp. So her bolts are, so her abilities are, you know, giving you electricity. Also, a lot of other Warframe buffs, fucking Banshee, Mirage, if you're brave enough. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
So we learn the importance of clarity.
And another Primary Merciless. Okay. DE, please, for the love of God. I know it stacks, but give it a longer duration. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, in Trilby, we trust.